Hey Meredith, I can't believe you're 50. I would love to do this video in some creative way, but I'm at work and students could walk in at any moment, and I feel like my creativity would look inappropriate even if it wasn't. I can't believe you're 50. Of the 12 of us who grew up together in the summers, you were always the youngest. So the fact that you are 50 and we are now all in our 50s or even possibly 60s is a little weird. We're all the age our parents were when they were our de facto camp counselors, when none of us went to camp. And just thinking about what they did as parents of all of us makes me tired. I could never do it myself. I am sure that many, many people are going to talk about how warm a person you are, how caring and giving and respectful. There's my phone. See, I'm at work. I'm not going to answer it. How caring, giving, respectful, wonderful you are. And those are all true qualities, and I don't want to take any of that away, but I would rather focus on something else. I have always appreciated your humor, especially, I think, because I can really relate to it, your ability to go dark in the darkest of hours. I will never forget after Stephanie died, you guys recording mournful, outgoing voicemail greetings, talking about how you were now orphans. That was just spot on, hilarious, and cathartic. And as I've been thinking about you and all of these years we've known each other, I was trying to go really far back and remember really, really long ago memories. I could go back as far as 37 years to your bat mitzvah. I will say that was an amazing weekend, very fun. My prevailing memory, and this says much more about me than it does you, was going to my first ever brunch buffet. I remember we went to a restaurant. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember that it was a sequel restaurant, and it had the word "to" T-O-O at the end of it, and I thought that was clever. And I think it was in a basement, and it was still to this day the greatest buffet I have ever experienced. But again, that's not really about you. That's about me. Happy birthday. Love you. Hope to see you before too long and get all our families together.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Meridith. Happy birthday to you.
There's a sketchy Brooklyn Knicks chorus.
Yes. Meredith, we love you very much. And I think about the very few friends I have who have been friends for life. And that means more than just about anything in this world. And we have seen each other through the highs and lows, the hysterical, funny crap, and the more challenging times. And I am so grateful for your friendship, and I'm grateful that I know it's the friendship of my entire life, and our families as well. So from all of us to all 5'3" of you, we send love and welcome to the 50s. These will be the greatest years ahead. And
Happy birthday, Meredith.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Meredith.
Happy birthday.
I want to second what Maria said. I'm new to the family, relatively, not lifetime. However, you're awesome. And Maria's right. That's more valuable than frankincense and myrrh and all that old-fashioned crap. You're the best.
Take care, Mare. Happy
Love
birthday.
you, Meredith.
Is it over?
Oh, happy birthday, Meredith.
Known Meredith since 7th grade. Before Meredith was the star of the acting stage at Shaker Heights High School, she shared her performance skills in the pool as part of Woodbury High School's synchronized swim team. Here she is, right here in the middle. This is 8th grade. I'll never forget watching Meredith's group named Potpourri because it included the best, brightest swimmers of all ages. Most of their routine took place not in the water, but on the deck of the pool. where they twirled their arms and danced to Duran Duran or something or other. When they finally entered the water, Meredith and her fellow natatorium artists kept to the shallow end, focused mainly on synchronizing their head, shoulder, and neck movements, arm movements, captivating the audience with their grace and beauty. If I remember correctly, the crescendo of the display came with a synchronized dunk where all of them disappeared underwater, getting their heads wet for the first and final time of the performance. Unforgettable in so many ways. Cheers, Meredith. Happy 50th birthday. Love, Christy.
So I have so many funny memories with Aunt Meredith, but my favorite one has to be when we were driving and we were at a stoplight and she sneezed and this like whole thing of snot came from her nose and it was so gross. And the light turned green and we couldn't go because she was like looking for a tissue. So anyway, she was finally able to go and she was like, I bet the people behind us are gonna give me a nasty look. And then we were driving and like 2 seconds later the people drove up beside us and they were like, and it was so
Charlie
funny.
and I moved to Boston from the Adirondack Mountains in January 1997. When we first settled in Somerville, I was a little sad. I found this postcard one day and it pretty much summed up how I was feeling. Then I started grad school and I met you, Meredith, my first local friend. Someone who laughed as hard as I did when the nutrition teacher told the class about winter campers' special trick of keeping candy bars under their pillows. And someone who 20 years later makes a perfect companion for a misty morning walk in Jamaica Plain. I'm continually inspired by your commitment to social justice and family and friends. The world is truly a better place with you in it, Meredith. Happy 50th. Love, Claire.
Happy birthday, Meredith. I think I have to start with a song. I like silly songs, and I sometimes write them, compose them about people I love. And you're one of those people. I don't know if you remember this, it goes way back, but something I sometimes fall upon in my days, and it always makes me smile. Meredith Levy is not heavy. If you see her now, you'll turn mean and green, and then you'll turn into a cow. Meredith, we both turned 50 this year. I'm a little bit before you. It's a good place, and I'm so glad that after a long time we reconnected last year. when I think of you, I think of just a collection of wonderful moments. There's lots of stories, but for me, maybe I don't remember stories so well anymore. There's little snippets. I think of you in physics class. I think of ensemble days. I think of you in Looking Glass. I think of you after you came back from your summer with SCA. And there was a change, a good change, something more determined, and I think it's helped propel you, maybe that's me, to where you are today. It was so great to come and visit you, even for that really short time last year, see your house, meet your daughter, walk around your neighborhood, and just, sink back into these same rhythms and silliness and humor, but also reflection as adults on things from far away and things more recently. So, just wishing you a happy birthday, and hope that this will be part of your celebration. I'm not going to tell you where I am. It's not Congo, though. But maybe I'll tell you later. Happy birthday, Meredith.
Hi, I'm Zena. I'm a college friend of Meredith's, and we met at Grinnell our very first day in line signing up for classes. And I just knew I loved that woman right away when I met her. And I've been fortunate enough to be friends with her ever since. And I have a story from our Pine Tree House years. Meredith and I coordinated our sophomore year a cooperative cooking house where we would cook meals every night for each other. And there's lots of stories from this time, but I'm sharing a story that I just think highlights two of Meredith's, two of her many great qualities, and that is her ability to bring people together, and the other is to turn a miserable time into a fun, inspiring time. So this story begins with two of our housemates who were cooking dinner that night, and we often cooked things that we had never cooked before, and some of us had never tried before. And these guys were making tempura, which was really exciting for us at that time. It was kind of an unusual thing in the 90s. I guess it was 80s. Anyway, they were kind of paying attention to the recipe and not paying attention to the oil that was getting hotter and hotter, and then so hot that it started a fire. And they then were stunned by this fire and kind of hesitated around it. And a third roommate came in and saw their hesitation, saw the fire, and thought, well, I'm going to put water on it. That will get the fire out. And then obviously that made the fire much higher. And one of them yelled out, fire, which then signaled the latent heroes that were in our house that had, for probably at least 19 years, been held back from breaking open fire extinguishers and spraying them. And they came down to the rescue. We really probably needed a quarter of a fire extinguisher to get this fire stopped. But we had this huge kitchen. So they sprayed every inch of this kitchen so that there was no fire at all to happen in this kitchen. And that meant over all the counters, on the floors, in the cupboards, around the stove was this fire extinguisher dust. Now, the college billed us right away for using the fire extinguishers, and then we're going to charge us $1,200 to clean the dust because it was pretty toxic stuff. And Meredith really didn't like that idea at all because why would we pay someone else to clean when we could do it? So she brought us all together and she made it a really good time. She played tunes the whole time, primarily this song. The Talking Heads were really popular back then. And we spent 3 days cleaning that kitchen. And Meredith, just with her positive attitude, made it a really fun one. So thank you, Meredith. We love you for all that you bring us. And happy, happy birthday.
Hey Meredith, it's Erica. I'm so sorry I can't be there with you for your 50th birthday. I'm here in Madrid, Spain, where it's about 106 degrees out. And I was trying to think of what story I could tell about you. I have a bit of a cold. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit scratchy. And I wasn't sure what I was going to tell. And then when I was just now reading the instructions, I think it's the last day for doing this, it mentioned that it might be funny, to do a naked video. And I just suddenly realized, like, that's actually what I remember most about you is nakedness. I think, everything from streaking across the campus at Grinnell to, I think, breaking into various swimming pool buildings for skinny dipping to then, when we both moved back to Boston and we started going to the different kind of steam baths, to the saunas, the Russian baths, and the hot tubs, etc. And so I figured all of these things coming together made it the perfect moment to make a video about nakedness, about remembering you naked through all these years while I was naked. So this is for you, Meredith. I'm hot on your heels for turning 50 this year, and I wish I could be there. So big hug to everybody. Have a great time. Mwah. Bye.
My story about Meredith is a story about watching someone who I knew as a kid turn into the most extraordinary woman and friend. She is a community leader. She is smart. She is funny. She's a mother. And she's someone I learn from every time I have the opportunity to be with her. Meredith, happy 50th. Looking forward to many, many years of happiness and fabulousness to come.
Ready? Are we alive?
Hi!
Happy birthday, Meredith, from the Grand Tetons.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know what Grand Tetons means?
Big movies!
That's not a Meredith story.
That's not a Meredith story, but she would like that story.
Big boobies, big boobies.
Okay, that's
Amelia,
enough.
do you want to start with a Meredith story?
So, I remember it was a few years ago, and we went to Deer Isle, and we decided that we were all going to go to this little pond. Yeah, it was a pond. And so, a bunch of the other grown-ups had gone, and they decided to go back home. And we were like, hey, let's just stay here a little while. And so, Meredith was there, and she was the only grown-up there. And so, me, Jocelyn, and Ivan were all playing in the water. And then I remember I heard Meredith like shaking Zaylee's bathing suit, and like she was kind of like talking to her in a stern voice, and I was like, "What's going on?" So I walked over there, and Meredith started saying, "Zaylee, where is your bathing suit?" And she was shaking Zaylee's bathing suit. She was like, "You need your bathing suit. You're going to be very disappointed because all of your cousins and everybody else that is coming here are going to have bathing suits, and you're not going to have your bathing suit." And Zaylee's like, "Mom, you're holding my bathing suit." And so Meredith looks down, and it's her bathing suit. And then later she had told us she didn't know that she was holding Zaylee's bathing suit because Zaylee had a bathing suit that looked a lot like her mom's. And so Meredith thought that it was her bathing suit.
All right. Oh boy. That was a good story.
That was a funny story.
All right, I got another Meredith story that I'm going to try to tell really quick. So this was a bunch of years ago. I kind of need Meredith's help here to tell this story because I know you'll remember the details better than I will, but I'll say what I recall. So we all came over to Meridith and Zaley's because they were trying to get ready to go somewhere. I think it was a Jewish holiday, like maybe someone's dinner for Rosh Hashanah or something like that. But they couldn't go because Meredith's car keys were missing. And she and Zaley had been taking the apartment up and down, searching, I think for hours, looking everywhere to find her car keys, which were nowhere to be found. And so I'm not sure why we ended up at their house, but we were looking around and trying to help them troubleshoot and figure out where are Meredith's car keys so that she and Zaley could go to this event. And Peter and I both at the same time were kind of telling like a inside joke. We were like, why don't you look in the vegetable crisper?
Look in the crisper.
Look in the crisper. Because years and years earlier, right after Peter and I got married, we had gone on a day of errands and we went out to dinner and gone grocery shopping. And when we ended up back at our apartment after all those running errands, Peter lost his wedding ring. And we were looking for hours and hours. Similarly, like Meredith looking for her keys, and Peter's wedding band eventually turned up in the vegetable crisper. So Meredith was like, all right, whatever. Like, you guys are crazy. I'll go look in the crisper. Where do you think her keys were?
In the crisper.
In the crisper, in fact. That was pretty cool. Yeah, do you have any
let's
stories?
Say happy birthday.
Hold on. You don't got any stories.
Okay, let's say happy birthday to Meredith.
Okay, wait, I wanted to,
okay,
me to say anything about Circle Lock? I feel like we need to say a Circle Lock story.
Well, tell the Circle Lock story.
What's the story?
So Meredith memorized a whole Latvian song.
No, it wasn't Latvian.
What?
No,
Arabic.
It was kind of Arabic. It was like a pseudo-Arabic thing. But yes.
For chorus, the hardest freaking song that we've ever had to learn. Crazy, painful, brutal. Everybody's got their cheat sheets. Who's out there with it all memorized?
Like 5 different parts.
Armpit, sweat. No, that was a different song. All right.
Anyway, and she wanted to do it. She wants to do it every single semester that we.
She
wants to revisit.
It's a fun song, but it's so hard to memorize.
All right, Meredith.
Happy birthday.
We love you
wish
so
we were
much.
there.
Bye.
Have a great party.
Yeah.
Have a great next 50 years.
Hi, Zaley.
We love you so much.
Hi,
Zaley. Okay, so on the hike back, I thought of one more story that I wanted to tell. So it was last year, and it was one of the kids' soccer games. Amelia and Zaley were playing soccer. I think it was out in Newton. And I was at home because I was leaving to go to the airport. So my mom was sick. That's another whole story, not appropriate for this venue. Peter and Amelia had already gone to the soccer game early, and Zaley and Meredith were still on the way to go to the soccer game in Newton. And I got a call from Peter saying, Amelia forgot her socks. Is there any way you could figure out if someone could get her socks to us? So I was able to intercept Meredith, who said, sure, I'll swing by your house and pick up Amelia's socks. But then we realized it's the day of Wake Up the Earth, where there's like all kinds of diversion of traffic in Jamaica Plain, and Meredith was not going to be able to get over to our house en route to the game in Newton and still make it to the game in Newton on time. And so she's like, really, the only way I can get there is along the Jamaica Way, which is the big busy road next to our house. And so Meredith called me. She's like, all right, I can come by and get the socks, but I'm going to be driving on the Jamaica Way. I don't think I can stop because it's like a fast-moving, like 4-lane road. So she's like, I'm just going to pull into the right lane and I'll go as slow as I can and I'm going to roll down the window. And so we're like, all right, we'll see if we can do this. And we stay on the phone together, and Meredith says to me, okay, I'm coming, you're going to see me any second, here I come. And I look up the road and I see Meredith's car. And so I'm standing out on the corner with Amelia's socks, and I did a wind up and the pitch. That's good. And it went right into the window of Meredith's car, and we were both dying. We were cackling louder than we've ever laughed in our lives. So much so that my neighbor George, the little old Greek guy in the next house over, started screaming and running down the street. Oh, Miss Rachel, is everything okay? What's going on? He's very worried because he heard me screaming. Everything was fine. It was just funny. Amelia's gonna say hi. No, he's coming out of the outhouse. I love you, Meredith. Happy birthday.
Hey, Meredith. This is the People Mover in Madrid. Pretty cool, right? Hope you have the best 50th birthday ever. And see you soon on Deer Island, baby. Woohoo! I thought you'd like this super colorful People Mover in Madrid. And because you're a super colorful person, so I hope you have the best 50th birthday ever, and see you soon on Deer Island, baby. Woohoo!
Hey Meredith, happy 50th birthday. I'm so sorry I can't be there in Maine. I hope you're having a great time. I have a lot of Meredith stories. It's hard to choose one, but one of the funnier ones is that when our senior year of college, most of our house stayed home for Thanksgiving. And our way home on one night, late one night, we went by this construction site where they were building a new student center, and there's this giant dump truck. And what do you think of when you see a giant dump truck on a construction site late at night? Well, if you're Meredith, you jump in that dump truck and start driving it around the site because there's keys in there, and that must meant you were supposed to do that. Meredith was always pulling things like this, and I'm glad you've survived and had a healthy, wonderful life. Zaylee, you didn't hear this from me. I love you, Meredith.
Thank you for taking care of me as a baby.
That's a great story, Meredith. Excuse me. I love you, Meredith.
Is that something you wanted to say to him, Meredith? I love ya. Want me to say it? I love ya.
Okay, goodbye. I love you. I'm trying to tell you something about my life. Maybe give me insight between black and white. Meredith, you are my insight between black and white. You are the most intuitive friend I have, and you have been such an important part of my life over all these years, and some of my most favorite outdoor adventure memories have been with you, many of them. You're incredible. I love you. And I think, what's one of my favorite memories? You know what, Meredith? I will never forget the first weekend meeting you, going bra shopping with you and looking at your boobs going, my God, you have the most beautiful boobs ever. So I just want you to know, if you ever need my support, I'm here for you, Meredith. I'm here for you. Have a beautiful 50th birthday and to many more together. I love you.
Incident at Deer Isle. Introducing Meredith, jogging, and Charlie, also jogging, and cameo roles of two savage, monstrous dogs. All right, action.
Whew, what a beautiful day out here.
Whew. Meredith, slow down a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about something. Kind of lost track of my pace.
Oh,
hey,
please.
have I ever told you that story?
I hope it's not that story.
Oh, man, I have the best story for you.
No, not that
it's
one.
It's the grossest thing.
Oh, yes. I think you've told this to me like 10 times.
No. You haven't.
This always comes up.
No. So this is I know I like to tell stories, but this one is the best. Okay, so get this. So I have this friend.
It's the bread in the toilet, right?
Well, but you haven't heard the full story. So let me tell you. So I have this friend, and so he accepted this dare to do something like super gross. And so what he did was he found this piece of disgusting bread.
Yep.
And then he tore off a piece of it. Woo. And then
it is a beautiful day out here.
Underneath the rim of the toilet all the way around to pick up all that bread.
Yep,
and
I
then
do
he
recall
held
that.
it up and he showed everyone all the stuff on the bread, all that disgusting toilet stuff, and then he put it in his mouth and he ate it. Oh, so gross. Can you believe it?
Great story, Meredith.
Sorry. It's just a story. You okay?
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Oh, there's some dogs over there. Oh,
Dogs?
they're getting free of. Okay. Don't show any fear, Meredith. Just keep jogging.